Oh! So yeah, not a fantastic start to the winter break. However, thankfully a month later, my car has been repaired and is back on the road. But unfortunately, it's not all good news, and I'll get into more of why that is in a bit. But first, let's lay out the video. So, this is going to be a video about basically why insurance is a rip-off, and also some tips on how to deal with them. Firstly, I've never had a good experience with an insurance company, especially with car insurance. You pay through the nose for what is effectively a really terrible service. And I believe, at least, that something really needs to be done about this. I don't know what, but something needs to change. So let's go through the cost. I paid £1,752 for a year's worth of insurance on my car. And I was then rear-ended at a red traffic light by a, shall I say, driver that shouldn't necessarily be driving. Effectively, what happened was we were both stationary at a red traffic light. No, they were not actively driving towards me. They were stationary behind me, and then just decided to drive into me. Yeah, a bit of a weird one, that. And their excuse was, well, I thought the light was green. Now, I don't know about you, but if there's a car in front of me, even if the light is green, I don't just go forwards, which is what they did. So yeah, a bit of a weird one, that. I got out of the car thinking they had had a medical episode, because I couldn't believe that someone could actually be that bad at driving a vehicle. But no, I was proven wrong. Anyway, first tip is going to be try and deal with the claim online, initially at least. And that is because wait times when you call an insurance company can be very long. The insurance company I'm with now made me wait an average of about 25 minutes every single time I called them. And I don't know about you, but I think if I'm paying £1,752 for a year's worth of insurance, they should pick up the phone pretty much straight away. I don't think it's reasonable to make a customer, fundamentally a customer, wait that amount of time when they've been in an accident and need help pretty ASAP. So yeah, learn how to use a computer. And the next tip, I guess, is kind of just be prepared to deal with everything from the logistics of moving your car to organising a repairer yourself. And this is another complaint I have, because fundamentally, again, you're paying a lot of money, and insurance companies just don't seem to work. You literally call them, say, my car's been in an accident, it needs repairing. They say, okay, cool, we'll sort that out for you, and then nothing happens. And for me at least, that is what has happened in this case and in previous cases, and well, in every single case I've dealt with an insurance company. Their system just never seems to quite work as intended. And that brings me to the courtesy car. Now, obviously being winter, every rental car company with a green and black logo was closed, bar one. And if I wanted a courtesy car, I had to drive my already accident damaged car 100 miles away from where I live to drop it off and pick up a courtesy car. Thankfully, I did get a courtesy car, which was like this, and yeah, not the best car in the world, but it saves me a lot of money on fuel because it had a 1.3 litre engine, like this one does. Then, of course, upon collecting my courtesy car, my insurance company assured me that don't worry, a logistics company will be in contact with you shortly to organise transport for your vehicle to get it to a repairer in due course. Of course, that did not happen. The insurance company assigned a repairer based near where I live, which, you guessed it, is 100 miles back in the other direction. So what happened was, the repairer called me and said, we don't know what's happening, what is happening. Of course, I am not the insurance company, I do not know. It is not my job to know. The insurance company should have organised this themselves, and hadn't. So I then called my insurance company, waited 25 minutes before I got through to an actual human being to talk to, spoke to them, and then they said to me, don't worry, we'll sort it. And of course, what happened? Nothing. Again, nothing happened. So I then took it into my own hands to call a logistics company that was registered with the insurer, and get my car moved. Of course, what happened then was the logistics company just failed to move my car. They organised a lorry to transport the vehicle, put the car onto the lorry, and then just left it where it was. So, of course, being me, I called them and said, why is my car not moved to the repairer? The logistics company then said, well, because we haven't had confirmation from your insurer of what repairer it's going to, we can't actually move the car. So I then said, I'm looking directly at the network of repairers and have told you which one it is assigned to. And you even have an email with a picture telling you where it needs to go. And they said, no, we need verbal confirmation on where the vehicle's going from your insurer. Fine, it's a system. It's a terrible system, but it's a system at least. So I then called my insurance company again, waited 25 minutes again, and then they said, don't worry, we'll call the logistics company and get your car moved. Thankfully this time, third time lucky, they did actually call the logistics company and the car started moving. However, it then moved about 5 miles away from where it was to another storage depot, and then sat there for 3 more days, and then got moved to yet another storage depot. So I called them and said, why is my car just getting moved around from depot to depot? And they said, oh, we're short on drivers at the minute. It'll get there at some point. Bit of a weird one that, isn't it really? You'd think you would take a job and then just kind of complete it on the day. I don't really know how lorry drivers work. I'm guessing they were all at the end of their shift and had to clock off legally, which is fair enough. But yes, my car eventually got to the repairer and then sat there for a very long time, and the repairer called me about 2 weeks later and said, your car is now finished and we'll deliver it back to you. And this is where I am now. My car's been brought back to me and it's still got damage on it. Admittedly, they did a fairly decent job of the actual repair of the accident damage, but there is now damage on the bonnet, which I'll put a clip up here now for you to see. And unfortunately, that damage wasn't there when I dropped the car off. And when I left it at the rental car company, obviously that was the last time that I'd seen it. So yeah, I got my car back with the accident damage repaired and more damage on the bonnet, which is not ideal because I should get my car back, according to my policy at least, the way it was before the accident happened. And obviously that hasn't happened. So I called the repair and said, there's damage on my vehicle that wasn't there before. Did you guys take photos of the vehicle before you started the repair? Which they did not. Have you got photos of the car before you did the work?
Before we did the work, only the photos that you supplied us.
Of course. And they are actually supposed to do that. And then what are they supposed to take pictures before they carry out the repair on the site?
Yeah, we've got the images. I can see the images.
And then of course the manager of the company spoke to me and basically gave me the typical, well, it was there when it got to us.
Yeah, no, I remember it. I remember when it come in.
He also said it was there when it got to us about 37 times.
I saw that stone chip when it come in. I've seen it, yeah. I saw it when it come in. I definitely saw that when it was here. Yeah, no, I remember it. I remember when it come in. As the car come in, we've seen it straight away.
Yeah.
That's why I noticed it straight away when it come in. When it came in, it was there. So.
And of course, I'm not trying to point fingers. It might not have been them. But when you're supposed to take pictures of the vehicle before you start the repair and you don't do it, and then there's damage on the car when you give it back, it doesn't look great. So of course, because they've denied responsibility, I now have to go back through the repairer network, get a different repairer assigned to my vehicle, and yeah, I'm basically back to square one, which is not ideal. And that's the kind of service you can expect when you spend £1,752 on car insurance. So then, what are the tips? 1. Be prepared to be patient. 2. Take pictures of your vehicle before it gets repaired as much as you can and as close to the repair as you can as well. 3. Try and call the repairer to make sure they take pictures as they're supposed to do before they carry out the repair. And 4. If you get the car back inevitably with some damage on it that wasn't there before, you are not supposed to pay a penny. As long as you have proof that the damage wasn't there before you handed over the vehicle to the repairer network, then they are liable to get the car fixed. And then 5 for me is a bit of an interesting one, and that is get a tracker for your vehicle. If your car doesn't have one built in, I advise getting a tracker for your car so you can see kind of what they're doing with it. If my car hadn't had a tracker fitted, I wouldn't have known that it was not actually at the repairer. So it's good to have one, A, for security, and B, if your car is in a repair network getting repaired, you can kind of check up on it yourself and make sure things are going smoothly. But yeah, overall, I'm tired. It takes a lot of energy to deal with these things, and it's something that you just shouldn't have to do. If you're paying a lot of money for something that's supposed to cover you for something, it should just work. You should never ever have to do their job for them. And unfortunately in this case I did have to do the job for them on more than one occasion, and yeah, it's just not a great situation to be in. It's very stressful, and it shouldn't have been a situation in the first place. But anyway, what do you do? And me personally, I just don't know. I don't know how to fix this issue. But I'd love to know your guys' thoughts. Maybe leave a comment on this video of just maybe what can be done, because I'm starting to get to the point where I actually will start pursuing change in the insurance industry, because it's just terrible. It's so bad, and things really do need to change. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this slightly different video, and hopefully I can update you guys with some positive news, maybe on a build series of the car once it's fully fixed. Anyway, as always, if you enjoy this content, please give it a like and subscribe, as not only can you see more content like this, you can see everything we have for sale. Obviously the car in this video isn't for sale, but if you click on the link down in the description, you will find every car of your dreams. Anyway, my name's Tom, and you've been watching Paragon Cars. I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.